I feel the Spirit moving in me. I feel the Spirit moving in me.
So how do you define happiness? And what can you do to cultivate happiness in your life? You know why it's so hard to find happiness? Because we're always looking for it in the future. When such and such happens, then I'll be happy. When I do this, when this happens, then I'll be happy. But the truth is, happiness is only right here in this moment. We have access to that if we totally tune into ourselves and pay attention. We can find the happiness that we desire right here and right now. A man walks into a library and approaches the librarian and he says, show me where the books are about happiness. And the librarian points behind him to the mirror. And the man turns around and sees himself in the mirror. Last week we watched a really amazing video titled Awakening Mind. Did you enjoy that movie last week, those of you? Did anybody raise your silent hand if you actually went and looked at that movie on YouTube? If you didn't, I really encourage you to do it. It's an amazing movie. And last week we looked at the first part of it. There's going to be more, but this was the first rendition of it, or the first version of it. And we watched 20 minutes of it. It was basically the message last week. And this movie, this video, is about awakening spiritually. So what is awakening? I think it's becoming aware of our essential nature. Becoming aware of the truth of who we are. Becoming aware of the Christ presence, the Buddha presence, the essence of who we are. And the neat thing is, this is not some weird or mystical thing that requires, living in a monastery or eating a special diet or going off in the woods and, being away from people forever. This is available to you, and it's available to you right now. In the Awakening Mind video, they said this: anyone who's watching this movie is doing so precisely because they've either understood or at least intuited that the peace and happiness for which they long cannot be found in the objective experience, and they have begun an investigation into their true nature. This is the most important investigation that we can make. It's an investigation where we discover and deepen our happiness. So I wanted to understand more about this, right? That they mentioned it in the movie, and I'm like, okay, well, how do we find this happiness, right? Don't you desire to be happy? Sure. Anybody that doesn't desire to be happy, right? We all desire to be happy, don't we? It's kind of a basic essence of the truth of who we are. And there are it must be 100 books on happiness, right? Probably the same amount of videos. All of us are on this journey, or many people on this journey, to discover what happiness is. So I wanted to find it. And I think I found the key to it. So what is happiness? I think happiness can be defined as a state of well-being and contentment, characterized by feelings of joy, wouldn't you agree? Of satisfaction and fulfillment. And happiness is an emotional thing, right? Don't you feel happiness in your emotions? And it's about experiencing more positive emotions and less negative emotions, right? And it's about feeling satisfied with all of the areas in our life, including relationships, work, achievements, and really personal values. So happiness is not a destination, but it's a journey of self-discovery. Seems like we live in a world where most of the focus about happiness is looking for something out here, right? When I get this, I'll be happy. When I have this, I'll be happy. When I, am healthy and whole, when I'm rich, when I'm fabulously famous, then I'll be happy, right? Consider the idea. Nobody agreed to that statement. That's interesting. I was expecting a big yes, that's when we'll be happy. So consider the fact, or the idea, that the pursuit of happiness is the desire of the universe. The universe desires for you to be happy. The Dalai Lama said, happiness is a state of mind, a result of self-realization and acceptance. The idea that the desire for happiness is the universe knocking on your door. The universe is knocking on your door. And the desire that you have for happiness is that connection with the universe that desires for you to be happy. So it suggests that our innate longing for happiness represents a deeper connection with the larger whole, right? Because we are all one with this universe that desires for each of us to be happy and to live a fulfilled life and to be contentment. And by connecting with and realizing this, we can connect with the possibilities for growth for ourselves, for the possibilities for living a more magnificent experience of life and existence. Jiddu Krishnamurti, who lived from 1895 to 1986, was an Indian spiritual teacher. And he told this story often in his teaching. He says, once a man came to me and said, I'm very unhappy. Can you help me be happy? And I said, well, what do you mean by happiness? He said, I want a big house and a beautiful car and a whole lot of money. And I said, if you could get those things, would you be happy? And the man said, of course, I would be happy. Well, a few months later, the man came back to me and said, I have everything I wanted, but I'm still not happy. And I said, what is the matter? And he said, I'm not happy because I want more. I want a bigger house. I want a better car. I want more money. Ever felt like that? And I said, if you get all those things, will you be happy? And he said, of course I'll be happy. Finally, I said to him, you will never be happy until you realize that happiness is not something that you can get. It is something that you already are. So this story illustrates the idea that we can't get happiness by seeking it out here. The happiness that we desire is in here, is the essence of the truth of who we are, who you are. So how do we get this happiness? You want this happiness? I got 5 ideas on how you can gain this happiness. Are you interested? Yeah. All right, it's going to mean a little bit of work. Right? I can't just hand it to you. It's not just that car that's out in the parking lot that's really cool. So the first thing we can do is to question our beliefs and our assumptions. Have you ever said, I can't do this blank, right? Because I'm not the right age, because I don't have enough money, because I don't have enough wisdom, because I don't have enough power, because I'm the wrong race, or my health is prohibiting me. Ever said those things? So if that's the case, we need to look at what are the assumptions, what are the beliefs that you have that are holding you back. So for today, for this moment, contemplate on what it is, what's a belief that you have that's holding you back. Might be any of those things. Age, race, finances, health, wisdom, power, time. Which one of those beliefs are you hanging on to? And just think about one and just kind of focus on that one. Just kind of see how that feels to hold on to that belief. Because that belief is holding you back. When we have a belief that's erroneous, it keeps us from being our full potential. Right? And so what we're about today is just identifying one belief that you're willing to work on that's holding you back from being the divine expression of Spirit, of God, of love, of light, that is the truth of who you are. Got one? Okay, so the second thing we can do is to examine the nature of our thoughts, right? Because our thoughts come out of our beliefs. So if we're holding a belief about ourselves that's not true, the next formulation or a manifestation of it is it comes up in our thoughts. Comes up in erroneous thoughts that tell us that we're not good enough, we're not smart enough, we're not wise enough, I can't do this because I don't have the ability. And sometimes these thoughts are like automatic thoughts, right? They're so ingrained in our consciousness, or at neuroscience we might say it's the way that our brain fires, right? It's the automatic thing that holds you back, that holds us back. And when we are holding these erroneous thoughts, they affect our energy, right? As soon as we have that thought, boom, I'm not a creative person. I'm not a productive person. I'm not a wise person. When we have that thought, it like throws a blanket on us, a damper on us, and disconnects us from the truth of who we are. Do you believe that every thought you have is accurate? Many of the thoughts that we have just aren't true, right? They're conditioned by the world we live in and the way we've created them, and we believe that they're true. But many of the thoughts that we have just aren't true. They're fabrications based upon our history. They're assumptions that we've made and excuses, really, for not being the powerful people that we are. So it's important to be able to differentiate, to tell the difference, for God's sakes. Where's the vocabulary when you want it? So to tell the difference between the thoughts that are real and the ones that aren't. And so, a lot of this process about discovering your happiness is about self-reflection, right? And paying attention when these things come up. to ask yourself, is this real? Or is this a fabrication? And to observe what happens in you when they come up and say, I feel disempowered. So the third step, third stop on the path to happiness is to embrace the concept of your true self or your Christ self. To really embrace that. Embrace the knowingness that you are physical, mental form, expression of the Christ self, right? You are an expression of the Christ. You are an expression of the Buddha. You are an expression of light and power and truth and essence, and you are unlimited in your possibilities. And you are connected to the allness. You are connected to the universe, right? And when you tap into that, the universe in that connection with you says, I'm going to tell you the truth. I'm going to give you everything that you need to be the powerful, perfect expression of the light, of the love, of the truth, of the peace, of the joy. And you have access to that. When you open your heart, open your mind, and in essence say, let me see it. Right? Let me feel it. Let me be it. That is the key to discovering the essence of who you are. I look inward for happiness. All this is available to you. All this is what the universe desires for you to have and for you to know. And when we step into this, when we step into this, onto this holy ground, we open ourselves to experience the perfect ideas, the perfect thoughts, the perfect feelings. That the universe is here for you. You are a perfect expression of the universe. And it's about time that we realize it. Right? Yes. To not be controlled by the limited thoughts of the sort of the consciousness, human consciousness, and tap into that higher consciousness that desires to express its perfect self as you. It's time. I look inward for happiness. Say that with me. I look inward for happiness. And say it with like some juice, right? Because we're telling ourselves, our mind, our spirit, we're saying, come on, bring it on. I look inward for happiness, right? Let's say it with some juice, right? I look inward for happiness because that's where it is. Wow. And it's avoided us for so long because we keep thinking it's out here, right? We look inward for happiness and we are drawn to, the universe pushes us, leads us to that which it desires to experience through and as us in creative and powerful ways. Ram Dass said, that true happiness is found in connecting with our true essence. Beyond the ego, right? Beyond the ego, is the personality, right? It's moving beyond the personality. The personality is the place where we have the fear and the doubts and the worry and all this other human stuff. And we want to go, oh, okay, I see that. But I want to look beyond that. I want to experience the fullness of life, the fullness of the universe. Oh, take a breath. Feels like it needs a breath, right? To let all that stuff go. Whew, just breathe that. This is who you are. Yeah, this is the truth. This is the essence of you that the universe created evolved as you to be. And the fourth thing that we can do is to recognize that our essence, your essence, my essence, is beyond our individual ego and interconnected with all beings and all beingness in the universe. Wow. Is that amazing? Isn't that fantastic? To know that you are connected to that. And the more you realize that, the more we open ourselves to that, the more the universe says, oh, you want some more? You want some more wisdom? Do you want some more truth? Do you want some more happiness? Do you want some more love? And you can say, yes, 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 right? Yes, yes, yes. Right? And move past that little voice. I can hear it. It says, oh no, I don't want to do that. I'm afraid. Move past that, right? That's not the truth of who you are. That's not the essence of light and love that desires to experience you in the fullness that you can be. Breathe into that. Feel that. You know, I really believe that this is the journey that spirituality is taking, right? This is embracing what's always been there, but I really believe this is where spiritual truth is going. It's opening up to all of this. And how great it is that we get to be this, we get to live this, and we can experience this, and we can be part of what Gandhi called the change, right? We can be the change, to be the positive influence, to be the light of love, and to reach into that deep sense of truth and power that we have. You know, scientific theories support this idea. And this is so exciting to me that science is discovering day by day more and more that everything is connected. Everything is connected. Everything is attached to and part of the wholeness. You know, quantum physics, for example, suggests that everything is united at the fundamental level of particles and energy. Wow, don't you want to be a part of that? Don't you want to be that enmeshed with those particles and part of that universal love and light and power and truth? I look inward for happiness. Say that with me. I look inward for happiness. All right, we're going to go on to step 5. Are you ready for this? Because these are some things that you can do to become part of this fullness. And to embrace the attitudes, activities, and experiences that make you feel alive, energized, and interconnected with the universe. So how do we do that? You know a lot of them, but I want to repeat them for you and hope that what we're talking today will energize you to incorporate them into your practice. So we want to cultivate a mindfulness practice, to cultivate the ability to be present wherever you are, right? And to notice wherever you are, whatever you're doing, if your mind kind of goes out the window, right? Or you're thinking about, finding happiness out here, or you're worried about something out here, just to go, all right, I remember. I want to be mindful. I want to be present in this moment right now. Present with what I'm feeling, present with what I'm seeing, present with whatever is going on. Be present to it. And just be with it. And the next thing that we want to do is to practice gratitude, to make gratitude an everyday experience of your life, right? To be looking all of the time for what you're grateful for. And just can you feel the energy of that? Can you feel what that feels like to be so present and so grateful for everything? Well, how about when the bad stuff's happening? You can be grateful for that too, because you're going to find a way through it. And the way that you find the way through it is just to accept it. Okay, this is not a fun situation, but I can be grateful in the midst of it, because I know what? You know what? You're the power of God. You got access to the entire universe. You got love on your side. You got power on your side. You have everything you need to deal with this difficult situation. Breathe into that. And the next thing you can do is, part of that is to engage in acts of kindness. To really, again, be aware in every moment. What can I do in this moment to be kind? I'm not feeling so kind. Okay, change that thought, right? I don't want to do this. Change that thought. That's a whole nother talk, but to be kind and then to be compassionate. To be compassionate, I think, first of all, to ourselves. And to love ourselves. Because if we're not compassionate to ourselves, we can't be compassionate with anybody else. So love yourself. I mean, really love yourself. Hold yourself. Talk lovingly to yourself. When you're hurting, love yourself. Say, I'm hurting, but I love myself. And then another one, this is a little easier. Not that the rest aren't easy, right? And that is to be with nature. So easy for us on Maui to go to the beach. Take yourself to the beach. Put your feet in the water. Take yourself up to the Makawa forest and experience nature, right? Because being in nature reminds us that we are one with all life, right? We see its beauty, and we can remember that it's a reflection of us. The beauty we see in nature is the beauty that's in our beingness. And then the next part of that is to really foster meaningful relationships. Be conscious of the people that you spend your time with. And to really choose people to be with that reflect this light, that are this light, that are on this path, and that feed you and love you. And another thing we can do, and I love this one, and I think this is really important and it's really fun, and that is to engage in creative activities, right? Do something that's creative, that's fun, right? And why, you might ask? Because the universe wants you to, right? The universe wants you to be creative because that is the essence of the universe. Right? So when we do things that are creative, we open ourselves up to this fullness and to this experience and to that act of being creative aspects of the universe. That is what you are. Because you're creating, whether you know it or not, we're creating all the time. Right? Everything we think, say, and do is a creation. So we want to be active and be a part of something that is creative. And do something that is creative. And of course, there's scientific reasons and medical reasons, because when we are creative, we are we're opening to the synapses, and we're opening our brains, right? And expanding our thinking. They say that people that are creative or people that learn a language tend to live longer, right? To have less dementia. There's all kinds of reasons why we need to be creative. And the next thing is to engage in movement, right? Move your body in some way. Practice yoga or Tai Chi or dance or something. Again, we know science is showing that this lengthens our quality of life if we are active physically. And besides, the body loves it, right? So find some kind of activity, physical activity that you can do. And lastly is to embrace an attitude of curiosity, to be curious, to have a mindset of wondering, why does this happen? Expand your thinking. Be curious about yourself and about the universe and about things that come into your life. Ask why. Be on a path of discovery. Brene Brown wrote, "The path to happiness is paved with self-reflection, acceptance, and growth." So instead of looking elsewhere for happiness, let us turn our gaze inward. Let us cultivate a deeper understanding of ourselves, of our passions, of our possibilities, of our abilities, of our values. Let us pursue activities and experiences that make us feel alive. What makes you feel alive? What makes you feel energized? What makes you feel happy? Pursue the things that make you feel happy. These things are all transformative because as you experience these things, you become healthier. You become happier. You are a radiating energy in the universe that attract others to you, and you encourage others to do the same. You're transforming your life, and you're also expanding the universe. The Buddha said, happiness is not something that you find, it's something that you create. So, my last question is, what will you do this week to create happiness in your life? Now, this is your homework assignment, and I want you to come back to me next week and tell me what you created. Not that I'll be in any kind of judgment either way, but I invite you to do something, create something, do something different this week, right? Expand yourself. Do something that stretches you, embraces you, loves you, so that you can be a perfect expression of love and light, peace and joy in the world. Namaste. I look inward for happiness. So let's do that. I invite you. Just to close your eyes. Where do you begin? Where do you begin? When? do you begin? The universe is your playground. The universe is connected to all that you are right now. The universe is calling. The universe is calling you to say, when will you begin? I'm here for you. You have everything that you need. Will you begin now? Breathing in and breathing out. What is it that you can be? What is it that the universe is calling upon you, opening the door for you on this beautiful journey through space? What is it that you know in your heart is for you to be? And let's just take a moment in the silence to reflect. How will you be? Knowing that the universe is with you. Spirit is with you. God is with you. Love is with you. Breathing in and breathing out. Giving thanks and gratitude for this moment, for this life. And I invite you to begin to bring your awareness back to this moment. And to open your eyes whenever you're ready. All right, loving Spirit, we give thanks for these gifts that have come to us in love. We hold them, we bless them, and we give thanks for them, knowing that they're moving through us, through this ministry, and out into the world. And we behold a world that's filled with light, love, joy, and peace. And so it is. All right, let's see. We've got a couple announcements, I think, today, right? There we go. And today's flowers are offered by Alea, who is, there you are over there, and they're dedicated to her sister Anne's birthday, which was this month. So thank you very much for your gift of these amazing flowers. Wow. Isn't it? It's amazing. It's incredible. The beauty of the flowers here on Maui, isn't it? It's almost like something out of Dr. Seuss. I always think when I see so many of our flowers. And if you'd like to dedicate or donate flowers on Sunday morning, there's a sign-up sheet in the back on the table. And if you find a date, put your name down and who you'd like the flowers dedicated to. I will be really happy to mention them on Sunday morning. And let's see. Prashanti continues to do her Kundalini meditation and Shakti transmission on Tuesdays from 6 to 7:15 p.m. right here. You don't have to make reservations. You can just show up and enjoy that. And she asked for a $10 to $15 love offering. And Mike Fleenor has arranged a hike, waterfall hike on Saturday or Sunday. Yeah, I'm getting to it. Sunday. Well, you can't make any mistakes around here because people are all over it, right? On Sunday, July 16th, meet here at 3 p.m. and you'll return by 7. Be fun to get out in nature. Yes. And next week, I'm going to begin a 9-week talk based on Buddhism. I've been wanting to do this for a long time. And when Buddha gave his first teaching after enlightenment, it was to 5 friends of his in the Ganges Valley. And he wanted to transmit to them the essence of the breakthrough that he had. He was able to crystallize his thoughts into the 4 noble truths. And these include the way out of suffering. And it's known as the Eightfold Path. And they include right view, right thought, right speech, right action, right livelihood, right effort, right mindfulness, and right concentration. So, we as human beings tend to have in our consciousness the idea of suffering. And so what we're going to explore in these teachings is how can we avoid suffering and experience the fullness of life? And I've been wanting to do this series for a long time because I guess I'm doing it for me, right? Because I want to really get into it and understand what is the correlation between Buddhist principles and unity principles, right? And I've just had this urge forever to really get clear in my mind what the differences are and what the similarities are. So come join us next week and we'll begin taking this path of joy and liberation together. And if you enjoyed my talk today, and you're going, man, how will I ever remember all that stuff? Well, I put together a summary that I call Walk Your Talk, and it's on the back table. I believe it's in yellow today. And it's pink. Oh, it's pink today. Thank you. There it is. Thanks, Kealoha. It's on the back. It makes me happy when you take it. So whether or not you're going to read it, if you take it, I feel happy. And that's what we're talking about today, right? So, so take it, and I hope you'll apply the principles we talked about today. And I think that's pretty much wraps it up. We'll say the prayer of protection and do the peace song, and we'll call it a day. What do you think? So why don't you stand, take a deep breath, and we'll say the prayer of protection together, and then we'll join hands for the peace song. So for the prayer of protection, let's affirm it together. Together, the light of God surrounds us. The love of God enfolds us. The power of God protects us. And the presence of God watches over us. Wherever we are, God is.
Where I